Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that sounds crazy at first. How do you take debt, something most people fear, and actually turn it into wealth? If you listen closely and understand the strategy behind this, you'll realize that debt can either destroy your financial future or it can become the engine that builds it. So sit tight. Let's get into it. First, let's get one big truth out of the way. Not all debt is bad. Most of us grew up hearing, debt is dangerous. Stay away from loans. Never borrow. That advice comes from a good place, but it's incomplete. There are actually two types of debt: bad debt and good debt. Bad debt costs you money every month, while good debt makes you money every month. Think of it like this. Bad debt is like a parasite. It just drains your wallet. Good debt is like a worker. It goes out and brings more money back to you. So, what's the difference in real life? Bad debt is things like credit card balances from shopping, car loans for a fancy ride you don't need, or those buy now, pay later deals for lifestyle items. These are things that lose value over time, or bring in zero financial return. On the other hand, good debt is when you borrow to buy something that can make you more money than the cost of the loan. This could be a rental property, equipment for a business, or even skills and education that increase your earning power. These things are assets. They have the potential to generate more income than what you're paying in interest. The key mindset shift is this: don't borrow for consumption, borrow for production. This leads us to the core rule that wealthy people use. It has a simple formula. If the return on investment from the debt is greater than the interest you pay on the debt, it's a profitable move. Let's say you borrow $10,000 at an 8% interest rate. That means your yearly cost for that loan is $800. Now, if you use that $10,000 to start a small online business or a service agency, and you make $4,000 in profit in the first year, you're winning. UVA paid the $800 in interest, and you're still left with $3,200 in profit. You're not losing money. You're using debt to acquire an asset. And assets are what pay you. So, how do you actually turn debt into wealth in practice? The first and most important step is to build assets that produce cash flow. Cash flow is the monthly income you have left after all your expenses are paid. Examples of cash flowing assets include a rental property that generates rent, a vending machine business, renting out your car on a platform, or even digital assets like online courses, affiliate websites, and e-commerce stores. One single asset might not make you rich overnight, but building multiple streams of cash flow over time, that is the path to financial freedom. The second part is to leverage smart debt. This is where the real magic happens. Think about it. Banks might lend you money at a rate of 4 to 10% interest, but a successful business can generate returns of 20, 50, or even 100% or more. That gap, that difference between the cost of borrowing and the return you generate, is where wealth is created. This is what investors call OPM, or other people's money. You use someone else's capital to build your asset, and you get to keep the profits. Before you borrow, always ask yourself, if I borrow X amount of dollars, can I use it to create a system that earns more than the interest I have to pay? If the answer is yes, it's likely good debt. If the answer is no, you should walk away. There's a third type of debt that is seriously underrated. Skill debt. This means taking out a loan to learn high-income skills like coding, cybersecurity, sales, digital marketing, or how to use advanced AI tools. These skills can dramatically increase your monthly income for the rest of your life. Even if you have to take on some debt to pay for a certification or a course, you're not getting stuck. You're leveling up your ability to earn. It's an investment in yourself, not a financial burden. Let's look at a few real-world examples to make this crystal clear. First, real estate. Imagine you buy a house worth $200,000. You put down a $20,000 down payment, and the bank lends you the rest. Then, you rent it out. If you've done your math right, the rent you collect covers the monthly mortgage payment, and maybe even leaves you with a little extra cash flow. So, who is actually paying off your debt? Joe, Tenan, Is. Meanwhile, the property's value is likely appreciating over time. Your mortgage balance is decreasing with each payment, and your equity in the property is growing. You took on a massive amount of debt, but you used it to acquire an asset that someone else is paying for. Here's another example. Business financing. Let's say you borrow $5,000 to start a small online agency. Maybe you do social media content design, or you start a dropshipping store. Let's say that business starts making $1,000 a month in profit. In just 5 months, you've paid the loan back completely. From that point on, every single dollar that business makes is pure profit. Without that initial loan, you might have never had the capital to get started in the first place. And finally, let's revisit skill investment. You borrow $3,000 for a top-tier digital marketing course. After completing it, you use your new skills to land a freelance role that pays you $2,500 a month. In less than 2 months, you've earned enough to pay back the loan. From month 3 onward, that's pure income you wouldn't have had otherwise. You literally turned debt into a personal income machine. Now, this is incredibly important. Let's talk about what not to do, because this is where most people go wrong and blow up their financial future. Do not use debt to buy things that rust, break, depreciate, or are only meant to impress other people. New iPhones every year, designer clothes, fancy cars. These are emotional purchases. They might make you look good today, but they will kill you financially tomorrow. Millionaires buy assets first, and then they use the cash flow from those assets to pay for luxury later on. So, how can you get started on this path, step by step? First, you need to know your numbers. Sit down and write out all of your current debts, their interest rates, and the total monthly payments. If you have any debt with a high interest rate that provides zero return like credit card debt, that's your bad debt. Your first priority should be to create a plan to eliminate it as quickly as possible. Step 2 is to learn first and borrow second. Don't just jump into debt blindly because you heard it could be a good idea. Take the time to study the area you're interested in, whether it's real estate, digital business, passive income strategies, or just basic investing and budgeting. Knowledge is what reduces your risk. The more you know, the safer your investment will be. Step 3 is to start small. You don't need to go out and get a $200,000 loan tomorrow. Start with a smaller, manageable amount. Maybe it's $500 or $3,000. Use that to build a small online store, to acquire a new skill, or to start a small service-based side hustle. The goal here is to test your idea, improve it, and then scale it up once you've proven it works. And step 4 is to prioritize cash flow. Any debt you take on should ideally start generating income almost immediately. If it doesn't, you need to stop, recalculate, and find another plan. Debt without income is a trap, but debt with income is leverage. Ultimately, it all comes down to the mindset of the rich versus the mindset of the broke. Broke people ask, can I afford the monthly payment? Rich people ask, how can this debt pay for itself? The wealthy don't borrow to look rich. They borrow to become rich. One approach makes you a slave to your payments. The other makes you a creator of wealth. Debt is just like fire. It can burn your house down, or it can be a tool that cooks your food and keeps you warm. The trick isn't to avoid debt forever. It's to learn how to use it correctly. Borrow for skills, for businesses, and for productive assets. Those are the things that generate wealth, freedom, and long-term stability. Remember, debt itself isn't the enemy. Ignorance about how to use it is. If you want more videos breaking down money, investing, and the step-by-step path to financial freedom, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below saying, I'm ready to build wealth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.